and welcome to my at-home library. Hi, my name is Reagan and welcome to my bookshelf. So this is my 2022 bookshelf tour. I also have below my shelf, which you can kind of see here, is my TBR towers. I made a whole video on those, so if you want to know what's in my TBR towers, that's in a separate video. We're just gonna get into the bookshelf tour. Starting with the trinkets, we've got this little bust that I thrifted and a cute fake plant that I found on Amazon. Now for the books, we've got Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Win, Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, the only Penelope Douglas book I've ever read, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, the Dreamland Billionaire series including the fine print and terms and conditions, both by Lauren Asher. The first book in the Off-Campus series called The Deal by Elle Kennedy, Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I also have It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, but my sister is currently borrowing it, so it's not on my shelf. The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. From Lukov with Love, the second Mariana Zapata book I've ever read, but the only one I've ever owned. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi, The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, a book that really took me by surprise. I really enjoyed it. Book Lovers by Emily Henry, another great one. And look at the back cover, it's so cute with the little stack of books. The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. My very beat up copy of Daisy Jones and the Six, that is actually an ARC I found at a used bookstore. Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I love this cover, it's so bright and fun. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Fun fact, I never read it physically, I read it on audio. Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. Another beat up copy. I've had this one for probably since 2019. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I personally don't like this cover even though it's the new one. Addicted to You by Christina and Becca Rishi. The Brown Sisters trilogy, all by Talia Hibbert. First being actor Ave H. Brown. The next we have Take a Hint, Danny Brown. And lastly, Get a Life, Chloe Brown. To me, these covers are super aesthetic, especially when you look at the spines put together. Then we have the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy by Jenny Han. First being To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Then second, P.S. I Still Love You. And third, Always and Forever Laura Jean. Again, they look really aesthetic together in a stack. First, starting with the trinkets, here is my wand. I consider it my wand, but it's Jenny Weasley's wand that I got from Harry Potter World. And then here is my oil diffuser that I kind of use as a bookend, and a succulent that I also use as a bookend. That's from Amazon. My Owl Crate wax seal kit. First for the books we have Witchwood by Tara Mafi. I love this cover, it is so gorgeous. The writing and the book itself is also just gorgeous. I totally recommend this one. Wicked Fox by Kat Cho, another good cover and another good book. Circe by Madeline Miller. We've got another gorgeous cover. I love how reflective this one is. The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. The Caraval trilogy, one of my favorite fantasy series. This series includes the first book, Caraval, the second book, Legendary, and the third book, Finale, and these are all by Stephanie Garber. This series is just magical, and look at that inside cover art. Oh my gosh, I definitely recommend this series. Then we've got the companion novel to the Caraval series, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Then we've got The Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and the second book is Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. Then we've got another series, which is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and the second book, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, also by Tomi Adeyemi. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angels. Another series, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, and A Heart So Fierce and Broken, also by Bridget Kemmerer. These are Beauty and the Beast retellings. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Then I have the first 3 books in the Shatter Me series. I've read all of them, but I only own the first 3. I've got Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and Ignite Me. Then I've got the first 2 books in the Neon God series. I've got Neon God and Electric Idol, both by Katie Robert. The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. And lastly, on this shelf, I've got V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic. For trinkets on this shelf, we have a little wooden box I made in 7th grade carpentry class that holds all my bookmarks. Then we've got this owl figure that my mom gave me I used as a bookend. I also have a candle kit that includes a tray and some tools. I don't know what the first one is. Then we got a candle snuffer and a pair of scissors to cut wicks. Then I have another box I made in carpentry class that holds a random hacky sack and a lot of the stickers that I use when I sell things on Depop. And lastly, a succulent that also acts as a bookend. Then we have the Throne of Glass series, starting with Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, which is a short story collection in this universe. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, the first book in the series. The second book, Crown of Midnight. The third book, Arrow of Fire. The fourth book, Queen of Shadows. The fifth book, Empire of Storms. The sixth book, Tower of Dawn, and this is the one that I'm currently on in the series. And the final book, Kingdom of Ash, which I'm planning to make a reading vlog on. It's a long one, almost 1,000 pages. Then we have the ACOTAR series, starting with A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't know if I like these new covers or not. A Court of Mist and Fury, my favorite book in the series so far. A Court of Wings and Ruin. And lastly, the novella A Court of Frost and Starlight, and I'm waiting for A Court of Silver Flames to come out in paperback to buy it. Then I have the old covers of A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. These were the first copies I used to read the series. This one's a little beat up, and I'm contemplating selling them. Then I have Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I annotated the crap out of this one, and I'm planning to vlog my reactions and annotations to the second book. First, for trinkets on the shelf, I've got another plant from Amazon and another succulent also from Amazon, both as bookends. For books, I have Sigh by Neil Shusterman and the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo, starting with Six of Crows, and then the second book being Crooked Kingdom, one of my favorite duologies. Then I have the Strange the Dreamer duology by Laini Taylor, starting with Strange the Dreamer, and the second one being Muse of Nightmares. Then I have the first 2 books in the Aurora Rising series, starting with Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and then the second one being Aurora Burning. The Folk of the Air trilogy, starting with The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and Queen of Nothing, all by Holly Black. The first book in the Illuminae Files series, Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. 2 books in the series, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and the second one, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, also by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Serpent and Dove and Blood and Honey, both by Shelby Morin. The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This book includes these cool illustrations throughout that are kind of creepy. Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. Dry by Neil Schusterman and Jared Schusterman. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. And lastly, The Maze Runner by James Dashner, probably the only movie tie-in cover I've ever enjoyed looking at. Starting with trinkets on this shelf, I've got this bookend that me and my grandfather made. Then I've got this children's book that my grandmother brought me back from their trip to China. Ming's Adventures with Confucius. Then we've got Ballet Sisters, a children's book that my mother read to me when I was little by Jan Omerod. Then I've got a student's dictionary that I got from a field trip when I was in 4th grade. I still have it. It's pretty beat up and old. Ghost by Jason Reynolds, which was a book that was required reading in my middle school. The Haunting at Hill House. This is a classic that I do not like. Then I have my very beat up copy of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I want to do a reread of this soon. Then I've got Things Fall Apart, and I'm going to butcher this author's name, by Chinua Achebe. This was required reading for a high school class that I took, I think English 2. Then I've got Night by Elie Wiesel, another required reading, which I think was for my AP Lang class. Then we've got Oedipus, which was a required reading for my English 2 class, and it's by Sophocles. A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Shakespeare play, and this was required reading, I believe, in 6th grade. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, not required reading, but a really good book. Life in Motion, Misty Copeland's autobiography that my mother gave me for my birthday one year. White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. Why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. It was really informative, but I'm pretty sure it's written by a white person, so I don't know, maybe do your research. Becoming by Michelle Obama. She has a very beautiful writing style that I enjoyed a lot. There are photographs from Michelle Obama's life that were really interesting to see. Then I've got Into the Wild by John Cracker, but this book was really insane. I also had to read this in AP Lang, and what the heck, this book was just weird. The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This was a really good one, but also a really crazy read. The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. This was required reading for, again, my AP Lang class. I hated this book. Did not like it at all. It was so hard to get through. Then I've got another random children's book, Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. By Jen Wang. I have found out that I am not a graphic novels person. They're not for me. Then we've got my second one, The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. Then we've got another graphic novel, Witchy by Ariel Selmit Riles. Then we've got a graphic novel that I actually did enjoy, and that is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is actually an ARC copy. My school library gets ARC copies, but they can't loan them out to people as library books, so they have a table of free ARCs, and I ended up taking this one, The Alchemist, another classic that I was not very fond of. Milk and Honey, a poetry collection, one of the only poetry books I've ever read. And this is by Ruby Kaur. Then I've got 2 magazines, both given to me by my mom. I've got Teen Breathe and then a journaling magazine. This is a memoir called Educated by Tara Westover, and this was a really, really amazing memoir. I really enjoyed it. Very unexpected because I'm not huge on memoirs, but this one was amazing and also insane. Her story is just almost unbelievable. It's so crazy. Then I have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I also wanted to give a special shout out to my Harry Potter and Percy Jackson shelves that are on the other side of my room, but that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my 2022 bookshelf tour. If you feel like it, go down below and follow all my socials. You can keep up with my reading at Goodreads more on a daily kind of basis. Check out some of my other videos on my channel if you like this one. And I hope you're having a great summer, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.